I heard this word statehood, but I really didn't understand too much about it. But I just made the transition, to start learning about our history. Our history of what we've been through. Then it just took a turn to where I ended up hearing about statehood and a deeper understanding about nationality. So I ended up getting involved, and it just really changed my life. To start understanding from a legal perspective, how we lost the land, what it would take to get it back. I learned about patriotism, with our mother state, the Empire of Morocco. So then, from that point on, it just put me in a position where, I got involved with the Empire of Morocco. My first position, I was a Qadi or a tax assessor. And it went from that position to me becoming a governor or wazir of an internal state of the Empire of Morocco, to finally where I became Sultan. But, my transition through, those different governmental positions, I really learned a lot about what our people went through, what it really meant to be a leader and be a forefather and, to stand up for the people and take the first step. It has really been a tremendous journey for me, to understand, what it means to stand on principles, to proclaim your nationality, to try to self-govern. So, these are just some of the key things that I learned, on my way to being a Sultan, as well as, just really studying, about our history, what happened to us, how did we get in this position, the treaties, it's really just kind of like a lot, but, that's just kind of how my transition really took place, of me just even wanting to get involved. And, I always just been the type of person to where I just always been passionate about my people. So when I understood, about the governmental positions and, the first steps that needed to be taken for our people, I really was pretty much just all for it. Before I actually got involved with statehood or the Empire of Morocco, you always, you hear this slogan, self-govern, because that's in the Moorish community, that's like a big slogan, self-govern. In the United States, they have no jurisdiction over you. But once I got involved with statehood, I kind of understood that it was way more serious. It took way more maturity to actually, stand in these shoes, to be able to say, okay, well, I want to self-govern, when it came to legislation, the administrative process, the countless hours, that the Empire of Morocco and the government officials here, they put into trying to make this thing work, called self-governance.